Welcome back, guys. In previous videos, we have seen genesis of Java, where we have seen the Java development, invention related details and the Java version related details. After that, we have seen the fundamental of Java object code, the magic of object codes, how the Java program is getting executed, and Java program platform and Java API related details and Java virtual machine related details. That all the things we have seen in our second video lecture. Based on the second video lecture, we have seen the demo in our third video lecture how the program is getting executed through my machine. I have give a demo to you to see most important topic, the overview of Java. It contains the most fundamental things of our Java programming language. Okay, and let's go to the topic. So the core of Java programming is object oriented programming is the core of Java programming. All the Java programs are at least to some extent object oriented. Every Java programming must have object oriented basis. So every programs has two important paradigms. Every computer programs, whatever the computer programs may be, that consists two elements. One is code, the another one is data. So you can model your program, you can organize your program in two ways. Either your program around the code, either your program around the data. Around the code, the program is demand what is happening there, and around the data, the program is controlled by the data, right? So around the code, the program is called process oriented models. That means code acting on the data. So you have to write the code to make the work of data. This is called program procedural languages like C. These are the program languages are little complex to implement when it is larger in size. Okay, so we move to the object oriented program. Here the data is controlling your code. Okay, so who is going to be affected, which is the major role it plays the major role in object oriented programming. And here some of the object oriented futures we must know. We all are going to know in a simpler way. Okay, so first feature we must know is abstraction is nothing but hiding the unwanted things. That means the essential information only we are going to demonstrate, otherwise remaining information will be hidden. For example, when you are going to purchase a car, what is the thing you need to know? The primary thing you need to know is driving. So you no need to know, it is not necessary to know how the internal parts of your car is working. For example, in order to purchase a car, whether you must know how the air conditioner in our car is working. No, that is not necessary thing to know, right? We must know the driving so that we can able to purchase a car. This is the thing called abstraction, hiding the unwanted things and showing the essential things, right? Okay, and after that, one more important principle, encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but wrapping, uh, that means collecting the data and put it into a single unit. That means the wrapping is collection and put it into the single unit. Look at this. Every Java programming contain variables and methods. The variables and methods are put together into the class, which is called encapsulation. Okay, so what is the importance of this encapsulation? Encapsulation can restrict the access of the code. These are the code. Okay, these are the code. Variables and methods are the code. The code can be hidden from some unwanted access. Okay, how these code are controlled by the data is called object. Okay, in previous we have seen that data, right? The data is object. Based on the object, the code can be controlled. Okay, this is the thing object oriented. Okay, in order to access the code, this kind of code, we have certain things, private and public. These are the two access specifier. One more access specifier also there, which is called protector. So these are the access specifier allow you to get the code from the object, whether if the code are defined declared as a public, it can be accessed outside the class. If it is declared as a private, it cannot be accessed as a accessed to the outside of this class. So, and the essential things are encapsulated within the single class, which is called encapsulation. Okay. Second one is inheritance. Inheritance, you know that uh, inheriting the property from some other object. An object which is inheriting the property from some other object. For simply we can say, most of the peoples, when they look at us, they can say, you are just looks like your father, you are just looks like your mother. Like, okay, we are the object, and for my father or mother is an object. Okay, we may be getting some properties from them, right? This is called inheritance, so object to object. So yeah, funny example is here. So here, the black shirt person, this one, who has studied well and who has writing his exam as his own, right? Here, the yellow t-shirt person, he is not studied well, he's just copied from this guy, right? Here, this guy is called as a parent class, and from him he is getting some information. Okay, getting some information, so he is called as a child class. From him he is also copying, he is also a child class. So for him, for this yellow guy, parent class is this black guy, and for this red guy, the parent class is yellow guy, right? So we are just inheriting the properties. Here there are two important things. One is parent class and the child class. The class which inherits the property from some other class, which is called a child class. The class which allows to inherit some other class, which is called a parent class. Okay, which is inheriting the data to some other class, which is called parent class. Okay, the main objective of inheritance is reusability. That is, he studied, he wrote the exam. He does not study, but he wrote the exams. What is the thing here? Study is reusable. Okay, he studies, his study is reused by his, right? That's the thing, reusable. For example, let us consider we are declaring two classes, class A, class B. In class A, we declared three variables, A, B, C. So if class B inherits the properties of class A, we does not need to declare once again the variables A, B, C in class 2. It directly use the variables from the class A. The thing, based on the thing, we just reduce the redeclaration work in class 2. This is the thing called reusability in inheritance. Okay, and next thing we must know is polymorphism. Polymorphism is to make more than one form. Okay, same thing can exist in the different formats. Okay, you see this, the same person in different looks. This is called polymorphism. In technical, we can say like this. How we can say? Let us let us consider the example. Bajaj Pulsar is a bike. Okay, and Bajaj 150, Bajaj 125, 200, Pulsar 250. Everything is same. Bajaj, it's a Bajaj bike, same, but different, doing the different function based on the engine performance. This is called a polymorphism. Okay, to make more than one form. In technical, we may say like this. Let us consider, if in a class we are going to create a member function, that means a function which is named as draw. Okay, if we are creating the function draw, the draw function can be used to do draw anything like circle or square or rectangle, right? The function is same, draw. Okay, but it can write different type of drawings, right? It may be write a square, it may be write a rectangle, it may be write a circle based on the parameter passed to his to that. Okay, this is a thing called polymorphism. Okay, and another important thing, we must know how the program has been written in the Java. Our first program, look at here, was a procedure for writing a program. You have to open a notepad, you have to type your first program. Okay, and our program name should be equal to your class name. Okay, so in Visual Standard you have to give a class name as your program name. Okay, after saving your program, you have to go to the compilation. For compilation, what is the compiler you need to use? You need to use a Java C compiler. That compiler compiled your native code, high level language code, okay, and converts into the machine code or Java bytecode. It's converted into the Java bytecode. Okay, after converting into the bytecode, okay, this will pass to the interpreter or Java virtual machine, right? The Java virtual machine recognizes your Java bytecode and convert it into machine code. Based on that, machine will respond for your program. This is the program execution procedure, right? Okay, let's look at this first program. The first program contains very simple things. The first, it contains one multi-line command line. Multi-line command line or single line command line are used to give some instruction about that program or some information about that program, right? So command line will not participate in the execution as well, right? Okay, here it is a multi-line command. I have commented more than one line, so I have used the multi-line command line. Multi-line command line syntax like this. It begins with a slash and followed with a star, and ends with a star follows the slash. After that, I have declared my class. The class declaration have two important things. You must start with the class keyword followed with the class name, and followed with that you have to write a class block. The curly braces starts here and ends here. This is a class block. Within the class block you have to add the datas. What are the data? Oh, sorry, you have to add the code. The code contains variables as well members or any other things. Okay, here I'm not declaring any variables, I'm not declaring any member. Just I give only one thing. I just give a printf statement. Within the mains function I just give a print statement. So I'm printing the value, printing the string. This is a simple Java program. This is a string that I have printed here. Okay, so here I have mentioned one single line command line. Your program begins with a call to the main. So main function is called here. So that's the thing I have notified here in a single line command line. If my command is persist within the single line, I can able to use single line command line. The syntax for the single line command line is double slash. Okay, after that I have start a main function. Here I have mentioned the main function public static void main string arguments of. Okay, here public is a keyword, static is a keyword, void is a keyword, main is your main function. There is a parameter within this parenthesis. The parameter is command line argument. We can say the argument name is args, which is a string argument and a string array argument. That's why I have mentioned a string class here, and array, to mention the array I have mentioned a open and close square bracket. Okay, string array function. So that's why it's mentioned here. I will explain this. After that I just give a print statement. So system.out.print is used to print a string. Then the parenthesis I just give a statement. This is a simple Java program. This program will getting executed and return the output. This is simple Java program. That's it. So to understand the program we must know what other things are exist here. Okay, before that there is a note. You must know why it is instructed to name the program as same as class name. As we discussed earlier, the program name should be equal to the class name, right? Okay, when Java source code is compiled, okay, you just recall the previous thing. When you compile your Java program, what will you get? You will get dot class file or object code, right? That's the thing. When Java source code is compiled, each individual class within that code is put into the one output file named after the class and using a dot class extension. That means when you are compiled your program contain a class. Based on the class name, the class file is getting created. Okay, so once the class file is getting created, it will contains the dot class extension. This is why it is good idea to give your Java source file the same name as the class they contain. Okay, so if you are giving the same name, it is easy to identify the class extension. The compiler can easily identify the class extension. So what is how it will be easily identified? We must know that, right? So uh, not like your C and C++, you are executing the executing the program. You are executing the program. Yes, not like that. You are executing the same program in same program like C and C++. When you write execute a program in C, what will be then? The high level language program converted into the object code, and the program name and object code program name is same, so it will automatically getting executed. But here when you compile, when you compile a program, okay, compile a program, your program create a dot class file based on your class name, not based on your program name. Could you able to understand? So let us consider the example. I'm creating a program. My program name is srk, okay, and my class name is my class sample, okay, sample. If I create a class name sample, and my program name is srk, so after compiling it, what is the dot class file name? Dot class file name sample dot class, right? Sample dot class. So to execute my program, Java program, okay, to Java interpreter, the Java interpreter, what I have to give? Dot class file name I have to give. So to execute the Java program, I need to give Java sample. This is the command to execute the program sample, because my dot class file name is sample. Okay, so here srk will be remain unused. Okay, it is little confused if you are giving different program name. That's the thing we are mentioning here. You need to give a class name as like your programming name, right? Sorry, you need to give a program name as like your class name. Okay, and here let's go for that. Here I'm explaining what are the things are there. The first line which I have mentioned in our first program is, this is simple Java program, call this file example.java. Okay, this is a multi-line command line. It gives some information about the program. Its syntax is, it begins with a slash followed with the star and ends with star followed with the slash. Okay, class example, the second line class example, where class is a keyword and example is a class name, which is also named as identifier, right? Any name is an identifier. So okay, here class is a keyword followed with an identifier example, hence it is called a class name. The entire class definition includes all its members, okay, all its members, all its datas means variables, members means functions, are enclosed within the curly brace. Okay, enclosed within this curly brace. The curly brace end with after completely declaring all the essential things. Okay, and third line contain public static void main. Yeah, the line contain public static void main. Here this line begins with the main method. Okay, the public keyword is an access specifier. Okay, that means the main function can be accessible to any of the class, whatever the outside the scope of the class, it can be accessible. Okay, that's why it is mentioned as a public. Next one is okay, if it is mentioned as a private, it cannot be accessed outside the class, but usually main will not be the private, because it may, since it must be called by code outside of the class. Okay, so a single Java program may have any number of classes, right? For all the classes the main function may be common. Okay, so when we are creating the main function within any one class, okay, any one class which is called main class, you have to save that program by main class name, by giving the main class name as our program name. Okay, so the main class contain main function. The main function can be accessible by any of the other classes. Okay, that's why the main should not given as a private. Okay, then second keyword is static. The keyword static allows main to be called without having to instantiate any particular instance of the class. A method, it's a main is a method. a method is declared as static now, it does not need to be instantiated by any of the instance of the class. That means there is no need of object to instantiate the main function. This is the reason why we are mentioning the main as a static function. Okay, static method, when we are creating the main method as a static only because there is no necessity for instantiated by any of the instance of the class. Okay, it is automatically called by the virtual machine before any objects are created. Okay, so the main function is automatically called by the virtual machine, so direct calling by the virtual machine without instantiated by any of the object. That's why it is mentioned as a static. Okay, why do you know, based on the previous programming languages, why it is that the method return type, right? It is a return type. It mentioned the main does not return anything. That's the thing. Okay. And then parameters, string argue. Okay, the variable specified within the parenthesis is called parameter. Okay, parenthesis, within the parenthesis, this is a variable which is called parameter. Here a method not necessarily to have the parameter. This main method have a single parameter, but every method not necessary to have a parameter. The method can be without a parameter, with the parameter, with a single parameter, with the many parameters, whatever it may be is allowed in Java. Okay, here is the main have only one parameter args. Args is the parameter. Okay, its type is string. Okay, and it is not a single variable, it is an array of strings. That's why we have mentioned the array symbol here, and the string is the class. Okay, so it is a command line argument. Okay, when program is executed, it will return the values. Okay, and final line is system.out.println. This is a simple Java program. Okay, this is the the statement to be printed. This is a simple Java program. The statement will be getting printed, which is mentioned within the parenthesis and the single quote. In order to print, to make the compiler know, we have to mention the system class. So println method available within the system class. So out is an object to get the value from the system. Okay, and finally println is a method, predefined method, which is used to print the value. The method just print whatever the thing available within this parenthesis. Okay, so println is a method which is print whatever the things which is available within the parenthesis. Okay, this is called println method. How it is an object to access the data from the system class. Okay, so this is the thing we have executed in this program. So Java is case sensitive. The main is different from the main, you guys must understand. Okay, so when you write a public static void main, the main function should be in lower case. If you write it in an upper case, it will not be recognized, so it will throw the error. Okay, so using blocks of code, as we discussed earlier, a block starts from curly brace open and blocks end from curly brace end. It's mainly used for grouping the statements. So some of the programs may need many number of statements to getting executed. For that, we are going to use the blocks of code. And lexical issues, Java is free from language, right? Yeah, Java free from language. Do not need to follow any special indentation rule. There is no indentation rule is needed to be followed. Okay, so literals, constant values. Java is created by using literal representations. Literals are just a constant values. So for example, 100, 19.6 x, this is a test. These are the things are called literals. Okay, identifiers, you may know it from previous languages, right? What are the languages you have studied? You may study C, C++. Based on that, you may know the identifier. Identifiers are nothing, just name for the variables, methods, and all those things. Okay, these identifiers are used to give some names to methods, variables, and all those things. Okay, so there are some rules we have studied in our previous languages. Identifier may be a descriptive sequence. It may be started with uppercase, it may be lowercase. It must start with the alphabetic and followed by numeric or alphabets. That is, it must be alphanumeric. And only there are two special characters are allowed. One is underscore and another one is dollar symbol. Other than that, there is none other special symbols can be allowed in the identifiers. Separators. So we have used, these are the separators that we have used: curly parenthesis, curly braces, square brackets, semicolon, comma, dot. Okay, parenthesis is a separate the function name from the arguments, right? So function name followed with the parenthesis. Within the parenthesis we have to give our argument, so it separates the arguments based on from the function name. Like braces, it separates the statements, different statements. One block of code can be started with the curly brace open and ends with the curly brace close. Like the second block of code will be again started with the curly brace open and ended with the curly brace close. Like it separates two different blocks. Brackets, it separates the string name from the size or integer name from the size. Like if you are a array of values, okay, for example, if you are creating an array name followed by the square bracket, within the square bracket you have to mention the size, right? So it separates like that. Semicolon separates the line, comma separates the variables, and period, dot, it separates the access variables, right? When you are accessing some variable by using the object, this is a dot operator is used. Java keywords, there are 50 keywords are currently used in the Java language. These keywords cannot be used for the variables, class names, or method names. These every keyword has some special functionalities, as we discussed, like static and public. Public means it allow the method can be accessible anywhere from the any of the classes, right? That is the definition for the public keyword. Like static keyword allow the method automatically instantiated by the Java virtual machine without being called by any object. This is the definition for the static. Like all the keywords has some functionalities. Okay, so the keywords constant and goto are reserved but not used. There are two different keywords, constant and goto are reserved but they are not used. Java reserves the following keywords also: true, false, null. We may not use those words for the names of variables, classes, and also Java libraries, class libraries. These are the predefined functions. I have shown you library functions, right? Library functions, there are many number of packages, IO packages, util packages. Like each packages contains classes and methods which are predefined. Okay, like here there are two predefined method I have mentioned: print and print, which is used to print the statement whichever may be given to the uh, argument as through the function println. Okay, so these are predefined. The println and print methods are available within the package IO. Okay, so these are the IO packages are available within the class system. Okay, these are complete, the complete packages are defined in the jar file, GT, I think, right? I have shown you, right? While in the demonstration I have shown you that. Okay, the jar file GT, in the jar file this entire system class and IO packages and the methods are available within this thing, right? Okay, okay, so these are the things that we have seen in this video lecture, all the essential fundamentals as overview of Java. And for the next topic we are going to see data types, variables, and arrays. We are going to see these three important things in our next video lecture. Thank you.